1, 2, 3. Why do we got to count all these parts, Jer? Hi everybody, thanks for joining us. We're the DCSI Parts Guys. We're presented by Dealership CSI. We're powered by ESPM, and we're back in Hawaii. I'm Rick. I got Jerry right next to me. Jer, how's it going this morning?
It's going pretty good. We're off to a good start and ready to do some more videos for you.
Well, we got a good topic today, and that is the perpetual inventory. Why are we counting inventory? Why do we have to count inventory? And what's the purpose of a perpetual or ongoing cycle count? I count my inventory once a year. I got all kinds of people come in, they touch all the parts, they come back, give me numbers, and everybody goes away happy. So why do we have to count every single day, Jer?
Well, Rick, it's kind of important to maintain the accuracy of your on-hands, because anytime we have some inaccurate on-hands, we're going to end up with technicians coming up asking for a part. Oh, we go ahead and we look on the computer, it says I got one, but then we go to the bin and guess what? It's gone. There's a lot of things that cause some of those inaccuracies. Technicians coming up saying you gave them the wrong side. We go to the bin, grab the other one, take the other one, put it away, forget to change it on the repair order. Sometimes we actually forget to charge parts out on a repair order even, and that obviously leads to some inaccuracies. Package quantities come in, don't get receipted properly. Many things cause the on-hands to go off from where they should be. And we need to do everything we can in our power to maintain accurate on-hands. We can't get an accurate stock order if our on-hands aren't correct.
Well, and the other thing we got to think about too is we are a direct line from the warehouse, and the people in the warehouse, if they're making a mistake and we don't catch it, that mistake just comes right into our system. So if we think we ordered 4, we didn't check the bag, and there's 6 in there, we're now off. But hey, we got free parts, so that's good, huh, Jared?
Well, it's going to create an inaccurate on-hand, and an inaccurate on-hand, whether it's over or under, is always bad. So that's why we do perpetual inventories, that's why we do cycle counts, bin checks, whatever you want to call them, but they're really necessary to be conducted on a daily basis.
So you're talking about accuracy and count. What about bin locations? How can I make sure I can find the part if it says I have it?
Well, you could spend all day looking for it if your bin locations aren't accurate, or you could try and speed up the efficiency of your parts people and your technicians by having accurate bin locations. And that's something we check when we're doing those perpetual counts, is that the bin locations are proper also.
So if we're going to talk about some benchmark for accuracy, what do we need to be as far as part number count, as far as bin locations?
Well, Rick, there's a couple different ways to look at that, and what we like to use as a guide is I need to go through my entire physical inventory about 4 times a year. And it really, we've done the math many times over and over, and it really comes down to you're staffed according to your volume, you're staffed according to your parts level, if you've got proper inventory levels. So what I generally found is if you have each parts counter person counting about 25 to 40 part numbers a day, you'll get through that inventory 4 times a year. And that really maintains that accuracy of about 97% or more.
So every parts guy I know seems to feel like they're way too busy to count parts every day. So how do you get over that?
Well, I like to set up a sheet that everybody gets a sheet, and they can't go home until that sheet's turned in, okay? It only takes roughly less than 10 minutes to count 25 to 35 part numbers a day. So if they can't find 10 minutes, tell them to put their phone away, I guess.
Well, that's a big part of it, and it's just, you're right, the parts manager has to make this the way we do business, and there's no deviation. You can either come in early and count, you can stay at lunch, or you can stay after. But like you said, nobody goes home till your parts are counted. Yeah. And if we start doing that, we start to see some magical things happen. And one of the things, I always say that inventory accuracy is everybody's business. A lot of times counter people will say, well, that's the stock clerk, and that's, we'll let the drivers do it and all that kind of stuff. But if you've ever faced a customer who called and said, you got one of those? Yeah, I got one. Computer says I got it. Good, I'm gonna be there. I'll be there right by 5, so don't close up. I'm coming through traffic. Guy comes up to the counter at 5, he's huffing and puffing. You're ready to slam the window, and he says, I need that part. Oh yeah, no problem. You go back and there's nobody home. And that was a problem of accuracy. That was a problem where I didn't go touch the part, which I probably should have done anyway. But as a counter person, I want to have all the confidence in the world that the number I'm looking at on my screen is accurate. And the only way we can do it, like you said, is count every single day, 4 times a year, and still do once a year physical inventory. We're not going to get away from that, because there's a little different purpose for the inventory that we do once a year. So that 97% accuracy, I was just at a store a couple days ago over here in Hawaii, great store, great parts manager, and they had just finished inventory. And I said, well, Brian, tell me, what were the total number of parts that you counted, and what were the total number of variances? So he dug out his sheets and we looked at it, and we had 46 or 4,700 part numbers that we counted, and we had 157 variances on the first pass. So if you do the math, that's 3% error. That's 97% accurate. And I said, see what counting every day does for you? He says, I know, we do it religiously. And so we've done plenty of follow-ups on inventories where that number is 10, 15, sometimes 20% off. So that speaks to the accuracy of your DMS versus your physical count. And we want that to be as clean as we can. And we want bin locations to be 100% accurate. There's no reason why bin locations shouldn't be on, because if I can't find the part, I can't sell it. So, Jared, let's look at some reports and things that we use for Perpetual, and we'll talk a little bit about that process.
Okay, I think we should give them some idea of what they can use.
Well, if you're a CDK person, we got Mr. CDK here, and Jared, what are we looking at?
Well, this is the canned report that you can find on every CDK system, RBB. It's report by bin. So it's a pretty good report if you want to narrow down to one specific bin location or whatever and list all the parts that are in that bin location. You can sort it any way to Sunday, really, and it allows you to select by bin, select by class. Do you want a page break? All of that is in your options there. The only problem with that report is I don't have the one option I really need to do proper perpetual inventory counts. I don't have the option to specify whether or not those sheets are going to print with an on-hand quantity.
Well, now wait a minute, Chair. What's the big deal about that?